We're going to use a definition of the derivative to differentiate f of x equal to x to the 3/2 power. Now recall the definition of the derivative is f prime of x is defined as the limit h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. We'll use a 4-step process. The first step is to compute f of x plus h. It's equal to x plus h to the 3/2 power. We can also write it as the square root of x plus h cubed. We're not going to expand this in this step. We'll do that in step number 2. In step 2, we want to compute f of x plus h minus f of x. It is equal to x plus h to the 3/2 power minus x to the 3/2 power. Let's change this notation to an equivalent notation using radicals. So it is the square root of x plus h cubed minus the square root of x cubed. The goal of the step, at the end of it, we should have h factored out. Let's multiply by the conjugate of the numerator. So this will be square root of x plus h cubed plus square root of x cubed, and we also have to divide by the very same thing so as not to change the problem. So divided by square root of x plus h cubed plus square root of x cubed. The product yields in the numerator x plus h cubed minus x cubed, and in the denominator we can go back to the old notation without the radical, x plus h to the 3/2 plus x to the 3/2. So the next step is to expand x plus h cubed in the numerator. It's x cubed plus 3x squared h plus 3xh squared plus h cubed. We also had minus x cubed in the numerator, and this is divided by x plus h to the 3/2 plus x to the 3/2. Now we cancel x cubes in the numerator. Everything else in the numerator has a factor of h. Let's pull it out. So we have h times 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared, and this is divided by x plus h to the 3/2 plus x to the 3/2. That's the end of step number 2. Now step number 3 is f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. In other words, step 2 divided by h. Well, here is on the left we have step 2. This h right here that I'm circling is going to cancel with this h, and so the end of step number 3, that is f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, is equal to 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared divided by x plus h to the 3/2 plus x to the 3/2. Let's go to the final step, step number 4, where we compute the derivative. So step number 4 is f prime of x equals to the limit as h approaches 0 f of x plus h minus f of x, and this is divided by h. So in our case this is equal to limit h approaches 0 of 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared divided by x plus h to the 3/2 plus x to the 3/2. Note that h goes to 0, not x. Now here's a term 3xh. As h goes to 0, that goes to 0. H squared also goes to 0. This h in the denominator also goes to 0, and what we have left once all the terms containing h are gone to 0. What we have left is 3x squared in the numerator, and in the denominator x to the 3 halves plus x to the 3 halves. So this is 3x squared divided by 2x to the 3 halves power. Of course, this is 3 times x to the 4 halves divided by 2 times x to the 3 halves. And the final answer is 3 over 2 times x to the 1/2 power. That's the derivative of x to the 3 halves power. For more videos,